Hello there, welcome back to one of my cooking videos. Glad you could join me again. Hope you enjoyed my previous videos. Today I'm doing something completely different. I'm going to be doing a cake today. Now this is going to be a upside down rhubarb cake. I'm going to put a twist on it. I'm going to try and see how it comes out with a salted caramel topping. So I've got a clutter of rhubarb in the garden. This is the first crop to come out so far this year. So I normally make up rhubarb gin, but I might do that a bit later on, give a few more bits to grow yet. But anyway, for this one I'm going to be making a upside down rhubarb cake with a salted caramel topping. Never done it before, hope it comes out good. So let's get over there, enough of the old waffling, and see what ingredients we're going to be using for this upside down salted caramel rhubarb cake. So for this upside down salted caramel rhubarb cake, what we are using here, I've got 200 grams of butter in there. We've got 200 grams of sugar. In here I've got about 260 grams of a plain flour and 2 tablespoonfuls there of a baking powder as well. I'm going to be using about a teaspoon there of vanilla essence, that's all that's left in the bottle. 3 eggs, and for the actual rhubarb I've got about 10 stalks of rhubarb in there. And you'll see I've actually cut them so they fit the bottom of the lined cake tin here. Now they're going to come out when I put the salted caramel sauce in the bottom there, and I need to go back in on top like that again. So before I just show you how you need the rhubarb to sit in the bottom of the cake tin. So for the salted caramel sauce I'm going to be using there, I've got about 45 grams of butter, about 120 grams of sugar. That's going to make the salted caramel sauce, and a little bit of salt in there, about a teaspoonful of salt to start off with, but we can up that. And also a bit of milk. Once you've made the salted caramel sauce, instead of using cream, which I haven't got any, so I'm going to use milk just to sort of thin it out a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. So that's basically the ingredients for this upside down salted caramel rhubarb cake. Let's start cooking it. So to make this salted caramel sauce, I'm just putting the sugar and the butter in a pan here, and basically we're just going to melt this butter and the sugar, let it dissolve, and we'll get it a nice golden colour, so sort of a nice golden colour syrup. So let's crack on and get that done. There we go, that's bubbling away nice. Just keep stirring that so all the sugar's dissolved in there. And just keep that bubbling away until it turns into much better syrup. So that's turning a nice golden colour. It's turning more like a sort of caramel syrup now. That little sugar's melted in. Oh, you smell the caramel bits in there, it does smell nice. Be careful not to burn it. I'm just going to start off with a teaspoon of fine sea salt there. That's a fine sea salt. A nice golden colour now, so it's colouring nicely. So at this stage it's getting nice and dark. Now you can either add cream, double cream, or just a little bit of milk, which is what I'm going to be doing. It will splatter a bit, so be very careful. Oh, that was nice and coloured now. That's it, I think that's going to do. So let's turn that heat off. There we go. You don't let it cool down too much, don't let it go too hard. So what I'm going to do now, so I've turned the heat off. I've taken the rhubarb out of the cake dish. Just going to pour this in the bottom of the cake dish there. That bit's done. Now we're just going to put in the rhubarb on top of that. Make sure you don't burn yourself. I took these out, they should go back in the order they come out. go. Crush into place now to make sure you get them in while they all work without burning yourself. One there. Be very careful because that will be very hot. That's also don't want to scorch your hands, and just put a little bit the edge there. There we go. Simple as that. We now put that to one side and we're now going to do the cake mix. Right, so I've turned the oven on, preheating now to 350 Fahrenheit, about 177 centigrade, gas Mark 4, so the oven's warming up now on gas Mark 4. So basically what we're going to do is just put in about half the flour. I'm going to start off about half the butter, about half the sugar, 1 egg. I do this bit by bit, and then we're going to use the blender and we're just going to blend that all up. I'm just going to crack in the other 2 eggs now. Give them eggs a blitz into there. So now we put in the rest of the butter, sugar and flour and blend that up. So I'm now going to put in the vanilla extract there. Now it's a little bit too thick for me, need a bit thinner. So I put in about a tablespoonful of milk. There we go, that's all done. So if it is a bit too thick for you like, you can just put a couple of tablespoonfuls of milk in there. Basically what we're now going to do is get your cake tin back over, get a spoon, and we're just going to pour this on top of that mix in the cake there. So put all that in there and then flatten that down. There we done, all done, flattened down. So I'm now going to put that in the oven about 45-50 minutes until a skewer or a knife comes out that clean. So there we go, that's going to go in the oven now. And then what you're left with is the bowl. Now if you like me when I was younger or the kids, you either wash it out or do what we call have liquors. Nothing not work better than when your mum was cooking, get the finished bowl of cake mix and then put it on a spoon and have what we call liquors. Oh, absolutely wonderful. Anyway, so we come back when this cake is cooked. Well, there we go, that's out of the oven. I've actually given that an extra 10 minutes. That's been in there about 60 minutes in total. It looks very nice, it's nice and firm. I'm actually going to leave that to cool down before I attempt to turn it upside down, because that is going to be scalding hot in the bottom. So I'm going to leave that about 5 minutes and I'll turn it upside down the plate and we'll see what it's like. Fingers crossed it's come out okay. So I've turned it upside down and taken the greaseproof paper off the bottom, so you can see the rhubarb there, a little bit there. So I'm going to let that completely cool down and I'm going to take a slice off then and see what it tastes like. Well, there you go, that was a bit of a disaster, darling. So I went to cut it and it was still wet in the middle despite using the skewer, and the skewer came out clean. So I've put it on this to go back in the oven. It just all collapsed, so I've had to leave it in the oven about another 20 minutes. So no idea what happened there, but I don't care. I'll show you my disasters as well as the good ones. But it's all cooked now, so I'm just going to cut a little bit out anyway and get that put on a plate, and we'll give it a try as it is. I mean, it's the taste that matters. Cut through that rhubarb, put that on a plate. I mean, yeah, and now the sponge that has cooked, it's actually cooked quite nice. The topping's nice. And there's a lot of sauce on there. Let's get a bit of a spoon. So let's just move this disaster bit out of the way anyway. But there's a bit of the actual cake. I mean, it will get eaten, believe it or not. It's the flavour that matters. So let's cut into this cake. Like you see, yeah, I mean, it just cooked nicely there. So, got no idea what happened there. Perhaps you might put comments and let me know what I did. I'm not exactly 100% on cakes. I don't do a lot of cakes, but anyway, let's have a taste. Oh, still a bit hot. Oh, the bit that is cooked, very nice. Sharpness of that rhubarb in there. The rhubarb was cooked in there perfectly, and just got that kick with a bit of that salted caramel on top. Here, a bit of the salted caramel sauce on this bit. Look, on down the side. Just give that a try. That has got a crunch to it, very salted caramel set. It actually has got a nice crunch and nice taste to it. So, overall the flavours are there. Just unfortunately, it didn't all cook properly, so that was going to put it in the oven. Another bit there. Yeah, it still tastes nice, so I'm not going to knock it. Well, I shouldn't really, but anyway, there you go. One attempt at my upside down rhubarb cake with a salted caramel topping on top. And that's it for this one, which is why I don't do a lot of cakes. You can see why, can't you? Well, there we go. Can't get it up right every time. Coming back, that one is a bit of a disaster. Well, a great disaster, shall we say, actually. The sinking of the cake there, but that's a bit of a crunch. That tastes nice. What is cooked is actually quite nice. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Well, not 100%, but hey ho. Put in the comments what you think I did wrong. No, I'm not afraid to show when I cock up, which is what exactly happened there. So hey ho, there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. You can understand why I don't do many cakes, can't you? So anyway, check my other videos out. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, be kind to one another. Till the next one, thanks for watching. Bye.